So I can go and just wrestle because my worth, my love, who I am is never going to change in his eyes based on results, based on trophies, based on what anyone else thinks of me.
Yeah. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Purpose Report podcast. We have another special guest this week on the podcast, and I'm excited to introduce. So today we have Gabe Christenson, a fifth-year wrestler from Runnels, Iowa, studying commerce, but previously has a degree in youth and social innovation, and most importantly, a follower of Christ. Welcome, Gabe.
Thank you for having me. I like the intro, especially the last part. I think it's the most important thing to know.
Yes, so I'm so excited that you're on the podcast today, and we're going to start off with 2 icebreaker questions to kind of get the conversation flowing.
Let's do it.
So the first one is, what would be, and I know this may be contradictory to wrestling, but what is your favorite late night snack?
Oh, favorite late night snack? I gotta go with Haagen-Dazs cookie dough ice cream. I would say coffee, but I have made the mistake before where I've had it late night and then there's just enough caffeine that I can't fall asleep.
You know, I actually, maybe because I'm not a big coffee drinker, I never really know, how people love coffee ice cream. Does it taste just like coffee?
So I think it's the perfect mix of I like the bitterness of coffee, but also I like the sweetness of ice cream. And so I love that we get a little bit of bitter, but then also a little bit of sweet. And so I think it just makes for the best little snack because I don't love all the sugar and it just makes my stomach hurt. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get both. Both best of both worlds.
Period.
There we go.
And the second question is, what is a Bible story or character that resonates with you most?
Oh man, where to even start? I was thinking about this before I came in of something that really has been sticking with me lately is in Mark 9.
Okay.
And this father goes to Jesus and he says, "Can you heal my son? He is having these contusions and foaming in the mouth and often throws himself in the fire." And I think about that and I don't know what it's like to have a son. And so what comes later is really what's been resonating, but also thinking about if this was his firstborn son, this is what's going to keep his family line. So he's coming to Jesus with his most prized possession. Can you help me? And Jesus says, if I can, anyone who believes, or anything can be done for the one who believes. And the father says, I believe and help my unbelief. And that one struck the heart because how many times do I believe, but then there's also this whole piece of me where it's like, do I really? And then on top of that too, you're face to face with Jesus. So, you can say I believe, but he knows.
What's really
he
in
knows
your heart.
what's in your heart. And so the honesty in the moment, because I'm sure there's people, this isn't an intimate moment. This is people around, but in a way it's eye to eye and I know he can see right through. It's like, where I don't believe, help me. Because I know that you can and I know that you will. And it's something that just sticks with me.
And that's so good. I'm glad you brought up kind of about this legacy. My next question is I guess I always just know you by Gabe, and so I didn't really know the first part of your last name has Christ.
Right.
And having that in your name has meant for you.
Yeah. I haven't looked into it. I know that when my great-grandparents got off the boat in New York, and they were just writing names down, I'm sure they said Christenson, however that sounded to them, and then whoever was writing it down just wrote it down, literally Christ 10 son. So I do know that story, but I don't really know beyond that. But to have Christ in the last name is something that I think about a lot, especially as I write my name down and think about, this is a part of me. Beyond, I am a Christ follower, but when I write my name, it's there. And so, as far as family legacy goes, can't totally speak to that, but it does mean a lot that when I write that down and I take joy in being a Christ follower. So I don't know if that really answers
No,
your
yeah,
question.
I just
but,
thought
you
it was
know.
so cool, and I was just like, I mean, I wonder if you ever thought about it. Like, I get to have, like, I know I have a piece of Jesus with me, but like, I get to like have it in my name and like keep being reminded of it. Just like so kind. It just made me think like, wow. I always ask like people who are from out of state, like, what even kind of brought them to UVA?
Yeah. So I started my career at the University of Iowa for a year, and I didn't have the best experience there. And nothing against my teammates or coaches. It just I realized it wasn't for me, and I wanted to make a move. And so when I finished my first year, I was about to start my second year of college there. And I realized this just isn't for me. I gave it my best shot, but I need to move. I can't be here anymore. And so I left, and I had known a couple of our assistant coaches because my dad had coached them previously and coached with them as well once they finished competing. And so I reached out, and we got to talking, and everything was going well. And in the re-recruiting process, which is so weird, with the portal and everything being open. And I remember sitting out back one day, and this was really after my walk with Christ had really started. And it had started in that August, and it was September or October at this point. And so I was praying. I was like, Lord, I don't even know what to do. And it just hit me like a truck, and it was like Virginia, and I just knew, and so then I gave our coach a call, and then this has been home for the past 4 years, and I've loved it.
Oh, good.
So,
and what is that like? Because I know your coach is also a believer, so how does that kind of like trickle down with you and your teammates, how y'all approach competition and stuff like that?
Yeah. So having coaches who are believers is awesome because it feels like you have an older brother in the faith to start. And so when things are going awry, it's hard to try and turn away from Christ because they're like, no, but where's your relationship with Christ at? And also, too, just the encouragement of, hey, how's your faith doing? What's going on? And so the believers on our team, I know feel it, and the non-believers on our team, I hope that they feel the love and the invitation. And so, obviously, we're going to talk about our faith, and we're all pretty open about it. And they are, loving and understanding to what we believe. And then on the back end, we also try to include them in everything. Right? And so, just showing the love of Christ and creating community and creating a loving space that everyone gets to be a part of. And so when it goes into competition, one thing that Coach Garland says is, before you stepped on the mat, you've already won, right? Like nothing can ever take away what Jesus did on the cross. So I get to go wrestle freely, right? And so I was reading 1 Corinthians this morning, 1 Corinthians 9, where it's like all the runners in the race run for the prize, but run in such a way to earn the prize, and then we don't run for the earthly prize, right? And so it's like when I go wrestle, win or lose, I'm not wrestling for the earthly prize. This is to glorify God, and I know that there are been times where that wasn't always the case in my wrestling, but the freedom that has come with changing that perspective is unbelievable. It's amazing.
Do you think also, like, because you talk about kind of like that freedom when you know that it's not something that attached to, like, if you win or lose, then this person may stop loving you, or it's like things like that. Like, how much freedom have you been able to, like, really realize? Or do you think that also shows up, like, you're able to be that image for, like, people around, like, your teammates to also know, like, oh, wait, no, we really have already won.
I pray that I am that image for my teammates. And so, like, when a little backstory of the college career, but I mean, it was COVID, and then I transferred, so I took a red shirt, and then I tore my ACL in my left leg, and I tore my ACL in my right leg. So up for the first 4 years of my college career, it was like nothing worldly to say I've done great, right? And so to step out on the mat this year and to have God have helped me overcome everything that led up to that, obviously there still is a piece of I have to wrestle with, okay, am I going to be healthy? Am I okay? And that's not a bad thing to wrestle with, but to even go out there and do it, there has to be a sense of freedom because I have to have trusted all of the things and all of the people that God has put in my life and the work that he had me do, it's like, wait, that was with purpose.
Yeah.
And so when I step out there, you know, it's not really just me that's out there. And so there's a freedom in that, and you know, sometimes I represent that well and sometimes I didn't, and I'll be the first one to acknowledge that, but my prayer is that I always do. You know, so that's been something.
Yeah, and I know I went to a wrestling match a few weeks ago, and your walkout song you had, I think it was
Firm Foundation.
Firm Foundation, and I was like, oh my goodness, I love to see like people just expressing like their faith boldly. When you had your walk-up song, or do y'all call it walkout?
Walkout
song.
Same difference.
Walkout song. Like, what made you? Because I'm not sure if you always do a gospel song or not, but like, what got you to that point? Like, I even want, before I even get out on the mat, I want that to be what's leading me.
Yeah. So, that Firm Foundation was my walkout song all year, and it was something that I chose because I had my identity in wrestling and my worth in wrestling, and it no longer is. And so it was like, my firm foundation is set, and it's not moving, right? So when I walk out there, that is for me, right? Like more than anything. And I'd had a walkout song before in previous years that I wouldn't say was particularly secular, but it was like, it was for everybody else. And I remember picking it for everybody else. But this one was as I walk out there, Christ is my firm foundation, and that's the only thing that matters. So I can go and just wrestle because my worth, my love, who I am is never going to change in his eyes based on results, based on trophies, based on what anyone else thinks of me. So it's a great reminder of I like the song too.
It's a really good song. I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, yes, Gabe. When I was first hearing it, so I just wondered. You also kind of talk about your community with wrestling when you first came to UVA, because like you knew your coach was a believer. Was it easier to get into community that way, or did you look outside of the sport to find community, or like how were you able to get a good community?
Wrestling, any athlete will tell you that you automatically have community when you get thrown into a team. And luckily, and I don't often say luckily because I don't think it is luck, right, that I was placed here. And so maybe thankfully, and I'm blessed and gratefully, I walked into a team full of believers at all different walks of life. And so I felt like I had a good community of young guys. I really resonated with the first years at the time, so the guys that are 1 year younger than me, so Kyron and Hayden and that group. And we were all pretty immature in our faith and how we acted, and then to see how God's moved in all of our lives together, right? It's amazing to reflect on. And so, and then I think about the guys who have now left, UVA, Jake Keating, who's about to leave, and Jay Aiello and Jack Mueller, and all of these guys who are foundational to helping build me up as the older brothers in the faith that I saw then. They pulled me in and said, this is how we do it here, and we want you to be a part of it. And I was like, whoa, this is awesome. I love this. And so that community definitely got built. I did go outside of just wrestling, and I found great community, and that one has been a little more difficult to stay as close with, just because it's my team. Like, I do everything with my teammates, and anybody on a team knows that. Like, you just do everything with them. And so, super grateful for everyone outside of the wrestling team that I've been able to interact with, as far as other athletes, non-athletes, people who have graduated, younger people, doing camps, all that stuff that, you get wrapped into, and like the FCA staff, now I'm thinking about it, and all those people, they make up what makes this experience that I've had so God-filled and so special and something I'm so grateful for.
Yeah. And how did you even get kind of like start being engaged or like being with FCA?
So I went to my first AIA FCA meeting right after I transferred.
Oh,
A couple of guys invited me, and I was like, sure. I did AIA in Iowa a little bit. And when I got there was this really big dude, 6'4", like jacked.
Yeah.
And I was like, who's that? And they're like, that's Vince.
Yeah.
And then Vince shared that night, and for the first time, I had this like this internal like turmoil of go talk to him, right? Like just go talk to him.
Yeah.
And so I did, and then we started meeting almost weekly since I got here.
Yeah.
And so he is now the head of UVA FCA, and he's the chaplain for the football team.
Yeah.
And we have been able to walk together. And so then I got to intern with FCA last spring and summer. And oh my goodness, what an amazing experience to see how God works and to get to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And then, another name that was super foundational was Kelly Scott.
Oh, yeah.
And he used to lead the Bible studies for the wrestling team, and he invited me to be a part of the servant leader team with All Sport, AIA All Sport that we have here. And so just to put it down basically, it's an invitation, right? And people that know God love to love others.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I got thrown into a community of people who love to love others, and I got loved on.
Yeah.
And so that's just something that I could not express enough gratitude for.
Yeah, and then I know you also talked about you having some injuries along the way. How did you, and you were also, because you were saying that when you kind of like really surrendered to God, it was like a little bit before you ended up leaving Iowa, right? So it wasn't too long after when like you started to get these injuries. How are you able to lean on Him in those times when, as you were still like newer in your walk, but also having like these really like monumental moments of knowing like, okay, am I going to wrestle again? Like, what does that mean if I'm able to wrestle? Like, how are you able to like lean on Him with all of that?
Yeah. So I first got hurt tearing my left ACL my third year in a match, and I was heartbroken, obviously, and I didn't know, and it was like, okay, I'm fine, like, and I tried to finish the match, and then I like my knee buckled, and I just like fell over, and it was like, okay, I can't do that. And so then you have this moment of, okay, I don't know what the next thing is, and so I was trying to be faithful and doing my best, and as I reflect on it, like I wasn't getting the message, right? And so had surgery, came back, and then in October of the following year, I tore my first one in December. So October the following year, I'd made the full recovery back. I had started I was like, oh, awesome. I get to do this. It's for God this time, for sure. And then I was in practice, and I tore my other one, and that like broke me. Because it was like, why? And I remember so vividly sitting in the doctor's office, and he pulls up the MRIs, and it was the exact same thing in both knees. Like he was like, if I didn't know better, I would have thought it was like you can't tell a difference. And I was like, all right, well, like I know God doesn't make mistakes. And if this is the same thing, then I must have missed something. And so the great thing about our God is that He'll meet you where you are. And man, I was in a pit. And then all of a sudden, and not really all of a sudden, but as He worked through that, wrestling became a lot less about me and about Him and about the love of the sport. Because if I didn't love wrestling and I didn't love God and I didn't understand that this was a gift from the gifter, right? This isn't, right? If I didn't understand that, then I, like, 2 ACLs, I mean,
It's
that's a career. That's a career.
Yeah.
Like that's a career, and I don't think anybody would have bat an eye.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and said, oh well, but whatever. It's like no, that's yeah, I get it. But and so, as we, move back to move forward, it's like I have firm foundation because I can't help but see exactly this walk that I've had for the past 4 years that led me right here to have my redshirt freshman season as a grad student. And so, when I do that and I reflect on what God's done, it's like, there's a sense of, man, you've moved here. And I get the opportunity to say, what will I do about it?
Yeah.
That opportunity to respond.
And also like the opportunity to share that with like other, if like I might have once kind of like shifted them to my celebration, but like knowing like, no, he can still redeem me and I can pull it back to him.
Yeah.
So I think that's like a really good to be able to share with others.
Yeah. I think about that first match back. I was crying. Like I walked out, and I might start crying now thinking about it. Like I walked out and for Foundation started playing. I was like, wow, everything that had happened, I get to be here.
Yeah.
Like what a blessing. And then afterwards, you don't usually cry after you win, and thank God I won that match, but. I like there's pictures and I'm like visibly crying and I run over to my teammates and like they all swarm me and so like that moment was so God-filled, not because I won and not because of anything other than the fact that I knew that his hand was over that moment. And it's just something that like it moves me. It's one of those testaments that I get to walk with forever and will always give the glory to God for.